Right, puzzle games. I am way behind on these. I thought I could do like a, a group of them every week, and it's taking longer. It's taking longer. Let's talk about our first game, Elec Head. Let's make sure that's what the game is called. I believe that is what the game is called. I am now doing a Google. Elec Head, all one word. It is a puzzle platformer where you are a robot. You are a robot with an electric head which powers things. So if you stand on a platform, everything on that platform will suddenly light up yellow and everything will be powered. That might be lasers, that might be little things that moves about. Well, how do you get past them if you power on a door or wall or something? Well, you can launch your head off. And of course, only your head is Elec, which means you are no longer Elec. You can move forwards, but of course you need your head. You're going to have to go back and get your head. Thus, puzzles exist. It's very good. I specifically bought this because of another game called Ooh. And I was like, well, I'll play this one before I play Ooh because this one was made first. It is not the longest game in the world. It's sort of vaguely Metroid Brainia-ish. But mainly it's just like a singular path through the game, and then there were like some other places you can go. Although just like later on in the game, you may have to go somewhere else to actually finish the game. So, but yes, it's clever in that it doesn't get obnoxious with how that would work, that system. It just, I've got so many puzzles and I've got ideas for all these, and that's how that will fit this size of game, and I've made it no bigger than it needs to be. Things like I didn't know until the very end of the game that if you just walked away for 10 minutes, the dude will fall asleep, and of course he won't be powered when he falls asleep. I don't even think that solves any puzzles, but I just thought, oh, that's really neat. There's a neat little twist on that. Like it's very Steven Sausage Roll-esque, like, oh, it was there all along. That's a bit of a spoiler, I won't lie, but I'm telling you, that's the sort of cleverness of these puzzles that I'm getting. Like, it's all there all along. There's no like edge case scenarios where you're like, well, how was I supposed to know that? There is a bit of like mapping because of the Metroidness of it, so you may have to consider what's on screens nearby, but generally you have all the tools available, and most of the tools are you being able to launch your head off. It is by the same guy. It is, I think, a little bit bigger. You are a caterpillar, and your body and head is made out of bombs. I think you start off as a small caterpillar, and then you get bigger as you find more. I don't think you find the last one until the end of the game, or did I just think that was going to happen, and you can actually solve the puzzle? I think that is. Yes, ooh, there's an umlaut on the top of it, so I don't actually know how it's pronounced, but it's clearly supposed to look like a caterpillar. Yes, you can like drop your head off, leaving a bomb behind, and that bomb can blast you in up, down, left, or right. And the way the world is made, you might be falling while this happens, or the bomb might be falling, and thus lies puzzles. It is not a million miles away from Elec Head, but with bombs instead of electricity. It's a little bit more Metroidvania-y or Metroid Brainia-y than Elec Head, but not that much more. But yeah, there were a series of puzzles where I thought, oh, I'll need a third bomb for this, because they all were like puzzles you don't need to solve to complete the game. But no, it turns out I was just being dumb, and those were all solvable puzzles. It can get quite difficult. There's at least one puzzle that's dependent on you just leaving the screen and coming back, because of the mechanics of the game, and I hadn't internalized that rule, and that's how both games kind of work, where there are subtle rules of how you're interacting with stuff, and one of them is just straight up, oh yeah, things reset if you walk off the screen and walk back, but some things don't reset if you walk off the screen and walk back. You see, there's interactions there, and those ones weren't obvious. It's quite hard to not spoil puzzles, but like the point is, you leave a bomb, and that bomb, you leave your head on the ground, and oh, there's a hole in the ground, I can't jump because I'm a snail. You're not a snail, you're a caterpillar. Whatever, I don't have a jump button. Lots of puzzles require you to give like an item to a monster who's blocking your way, but you can't go over save points because otherwise things will just reset. And that's more integrated with puzzles than you might expect. You're used to that being just a barrier, a movement, a save point essentially. But no, everything is part of the puzzles. Secrets of Blackrock. Let's get the full name of this so I can be accurate. Secrets of Blackrock. Secrets of Blackrock Manor - escape room. Not to be confused with a book that's got literally the same name. It is an escape room puzzle. It's a first-person puzzle game where you go into individual rooms, and it's escape room puzzles. So there's always like diagrams on the walls, and you're supposed to interpret what that means, and you have a way of entering information. And it might require you... I can't remember if there were items in that game or not. I'd have to look at a video. There is a sort of a hint system that's really easy to accidentally press the hint button. You go, no, I don't want to know. But it's like timed, so it doesn't want you to look at it up too good. And yeah, like, I think if I was a little bit patient, I probably wouldn't have needed any of the hints. But I stream, and sometimes I'm like, I've been here for an hour, fuck it, I'm just going to look up a hint. I seem to remember the hints were quite good, though. They weren't... Sometimes the ideal hint is a nudge. It's a, hey, you might not have considered this, or hey, this is the puzzle you should be working on. Not that one over there, this one. And you can sort of, like, meta understand puzzles by going, oh, the next hint available is for that puzzle, so clearly that's the one I'm supposed to be working on. But yeah, it's telling a little story about this family, because every room is a different person's room, and you're visiting after I think somebody died. It's not a million miles away from every other first-person puzzle game set in a mansion. They seem to all want to talk about old families and stuff like that. It's like those two concepts go together quite well. Yeah, I thought it was okay. It's not mind-blowing in terms of like puzzles or anything like that, in a way that ooh is literally mind-blowing because it's about exploding your head. It's not as clever, say, as an Elekhead or an ooh, because those are brand new like genre things, if that makes sense. Whereas this is just an escape room where if you don't get the logic of the room puzzle, then you might struggle. That's the sort of thing, rather than you interacting with mechanics that have been subtly taught to you over the game, like those last two examples. The next is Curse of the Last Reaper, which is the final expansion pack, not just for Golden Idol Investigations, but for the entire series so far. I don't know if he's making a third game, but like what it does is it serves as a bit of a link between both games, to the point that I decided to go back to the original game, not the Rise of the Golden Idol, the secret, whatever, Golden Idol. They're called Golden Idols. You can find them easily enough. But my point is, it introduces a sort of character that's in as a sort of link between the two games. I mean, the Golden Idol links the two games already, and this, as I said before, you are putting together an entire history of a world here, as well as trying to solve murders and stuff, and the sort of weird mechanics of how the Golden Idol interacts with the world. I thought it was a nice story. I appreciate that it was... There is a villain here, of course, but it's not. The story's not about a villain. It's about something else, because we're leaving on a different tone. And it's what I like about all these DLCs existing is, yeah, you don't have to have this magnificent puzzle be a grand, like, haha, he did it all. It doesn't have to be there every time. You can just experiment with what sort of story you want to tell. And Curse of the Last Reaper also is, pirate adventure, is a bit of that. It's yeah, there is something bad going on, but like, it's another story. I like it. I like the entire games. Sensorium. What is Sensorium? Okay, Sensorium is a first-person puzzle game, and specifically an indie one. These are all indie games, of course. I'm going to say slightly more indie, and by that I mean slightly less money has gone towards it. I mean, Curse of the Last Reaper is like made by one guy, but whatever. Yeah, somebody who is less capable of doing art, and that's fine. Like, if you make good enough puzzles, that's fine. It's by Tad Caudle, it says on the screen there. So the gimmick is there are like different areas, and those areas are touch, taste, smell, hearing, and sight. And you might be thinking, how does taste work? And the answer is, there's like little balls you can interact with, and you hear like a crunch, 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 and then it does like a noise. What it really means is noise. It's just hearing again. How does smell work? It's just hearing again. It's just a noise. Like, it's an interesting. I haven't finished it because the very last area seems really fucking tough. So yeah, there's these areas, and they have ways of interacting with the puzzles. Lots of it are like programming style puzzles where you have if AND gates and NAND gates and NOR gates and OR gates and stuff like that, but they're connected to like information you're supposed to glean from the puzzles. But not all of them are that. It's just like that's going to be a lot of the game, because you're trying to learn via the other information given to you. It's not the longest game in the world, apart from it's ongoing, because the last game puzzles are quite difficult as far as I can tell. I tried I think once, and it was a 15-minute stream because I was like, oh, I'm getting none of this done. I've got to try this in the middle of the day when I'm more awake, but yeah, it's suddenly a huge leap in difficulty. But it's very difficult to judge how difficult a puzzle is, and this is a person who presumably didn't get to test his game on as many people as others. But yeah, I do recommend, even if the last section of the game might be undoable. It's trying to do the witness thing, where it's not trying to tell you information overtly, which does mean, like, I think specifically the smell puzzles, you'll walk over to that, you'll hear like some crickets, you walk into a room and you go, okay, and then you'll leave and come back 50 hours later because that didn't make any sense to you at the time. But yeah, and that's neat. It's on a much smaller scale, but it's neat. It's a good game. The next game is Da Vinci. I was supposed to do claps. I don't know why I stopped doing it. It just makes it really hard to edit these videos. The House of Da Vinci. My favourite puzzle in The House of Da Vinci. I'll talk about it in a second. It's not my favourite puzzle. It's one that I thought was a bit crap. But like, what The House of Da Vinci actually is there's another series called... I'll have to look it up. I was going to say... no, it's going to say it's based on Da Vinci. Fucking stupid fucking Google. What are they like? The Room. There's a series of games called The Room. You might be thinking of a movie called The Room. No, not that. What The Room is they are puzzle box games. I.e., you walk into a room and there's a model of a house, and you lift up the house and you twist the thing, and that opens up another part of the house, and you twist that thing, and now you have to look over this side of the room, and suddenly you zoom into the house, and there's a house inside of a house because it's a toy house inside of the toy house, and it's all this impossible. It's a puzzle box. You know, like people on the internet might make very expensive puzzle toys that to open them you have to twist them in the exact correct order. Well, imagine if they weren't held back by physical space. There's like a magic eye glass, and that allows you to zoom into places. Like, it cheats. These objects are physically impossible to build, but like the Room series starts off kind of light puzzles, and they just get harder and harder. There are puzzles there as well. The Da Vinci games are exactly the same, but the gimmick is now Da Vinci invented all the puzzles. My favourite puzzle is you do a series of things on the machine. You go click, wind, zoom, zoom, and then you've just got to move a little bit of hay, and the puzzle doesn't work unless you move a little bit of hay to the left, and then the lighter can light. And I just love the idea of that, because Da Vinci going, I'll put her the hay I'll put her the hay over there, and they'll have to move the hay. What accent is that supposed to be? My point is, ignore the awful accent I just attempted there. I swear I did that better before, but I'm on the spot now. No, you didn't need to. That tiny element that you added was not needed. Fucking just, move on, John. Occlude. Occlude. No, that's just Claude. Occlude. Okay, so Occlude I only played for like an hour. It seemed a little bit too hard for me. It is solitaire, but the gimmick is that you're doing something else. It's quite hard to explain, to be honest. You can just do the solitaire if you like, but there's like special hidden rules of what you're trying to do in each level. So you might be trying to find all the jacks, but the game's not going to tell you that. Instead, you're going to glean that by sort of these meters. I think there's tokens, and sometimes they flip when you do a thing, and you're like, well, why did it do a thing? Was it the jack? And you go, oh, I need all the jacks. And that's like level 1. You find all the jacks. That's an example. I don't think it is that. And then level 2, I just couldn't fucking figure out. And I was like, oh, this is beyond me. And also, largely depends on you being really interested in the solitaire in general. And I thought it was an interesting game that I probably should try again. But it was quite difficult.